8 more days, New York City. 8 more days to real basketball. Me and the crew about to talk about it. Let's go.
Talk on. Talk on. Talk on.
Gentlemen, Samuel Lachow, how are you, sir?
I'm good, or I'm all right. In my Nets world, I'm okay. Been better.
it's uh it's painful to be a New York fan of anything right now. Uh Here to tell us all about the pain is my other partner. Bam, say hello to the people.
Been a while. Good to be back, and season's right around the corner. So we'll be doing this a lot more often, and obviously we've got a lot to talk about tonight.
We sure do. Not good things, but nothing to be crazy about. Sam, what's bothering you the most right now? Excuse me. um, Hit us. Go ahead, Sam. Hit us with what's bothering you the most in
I,
Nets
I,
world right now.
I think the way that that entire Nets world is talking about the Kyrie situation, or at least half of it, is crazy. Like I mean, I guess everything has to be divided now in this country, even an issue like Kyrie Irving, who's as controversial, I guess, as it comes. But I think it's crazy that this thing isn't settled right now, one way or another. And I mean, look, beyond his stance on vaccination, which I guess a betting man, Kyrie being unvaccinated in Vegas was probably what, like minus 800, minus 900. You definitely weren't going to get good odds on it, but I don't know. I look. I'm someone that really believes in the locker room and team chemistry and whatnot. And I know people say that they're handling this situation internally and all is well, but this doesn't feel like the start of a team that's about to win a title. This feels like an implosion ready to happen. And so I'm nervous because Marks did an unbelievable job this summer, and every Nets fan should be in really good spirits right now, but I think most aren't.
Uh, uh, let me say it like this, right? I didn't think you were gonna go straight for the jugular because as we speak, the Nets are losing by 19 to the Sixers, and they look like a slow, unimaginative, and obvious team. Um, but of course, it's preseason. Uh, the the Kyrie thing to me is such a massive waste of time. It's it seems like, Bam, this has more to do with people's political identity than even the vaccine being good or bad for you, or anything like this. It's like Kyrie chooses these hills to die on, and I just don't see how, like, I, is this real? Like, is this, are we making a big thing out of nothing? Bam.
Well, of course not. Um, when we first started talking on Twitter, you were more of an optimist. And as the weathered, battered net fan, I used to always say, like, you don't get it. Something always pops up. And this is just the latest example of something always pops up. That not only did the Nets, get this team together, like a pandemic had to hit as it was being built.
Right.
And now vaccination mandates are being implemented, and the Nets happen to play in the city with the strictest rules attached to it. So if they literally played in New Jersey still, nobody would care. So this is a twofold thing. I don't care about Kyrie Irving's vaccination status for any reason other than basketball purposes.
Right.
That's it. And I think most fans are the same way. I think everybody should get vaccinated, but I think it's becoming pretty clear that that's just not going to happen in this country.
Yeah,
What's
I
going?
have a cold-blooded look on that. Like I just don't the the thing that bothers me about the people who don't get vaxxed is that they get other people sick. But now if you look at the data, they really just get other unvaxxed people sick. So I'm not wishing that unvaxxed people get sick, but at some point I think, the same, like, it's amazingly all of this has happened before. The 1918 flu, the even with polio, when they started mandating that polio vaccination get taken by children at several stages of their life, people fought that. People were against it. People didn't trust it. And before people were against this vax, they were saying that vaccines was giving people autism. So this is a bigger thing that has nothing to do with basketball. And I have my personal feelings on it. I feel strongly about that people should be vaccinated. However, I don't care. I don't care if Kyrie gets vaccinated. I just want to win, and I don't feel like we're going to win if we don't have this guy. I'm starting to worry, especially after what I saw tonight. Sam, I mean, I know you didn't watch a lot of the game, and we're all kind of, me myself, I'm kind of shocked. We're only down 10 right now, but there's only 2 minutes left. Um, nah, man, I don't know, man. It's what's the worst thing that can happen because of this? Because of Kyrie being unvaxxed. What's the how horrible can it go?
I mean, look, if you took the Nets roster like that they currently have and told someone 2 years ago this is going to be like the roster and there's no Kyrie, whatever, every Net fan would sign up for it. Which is why, like, I get the whole we should all be pumped because this is a good, this is a good, this is like a really impressive roster and whatnot. What's irritating about it is that this is like another thing. It's another thing that's talked about, and I think people don't realize that this stuff builds on itself. Right now, it might not be the biggest news in sports, but it's going to become more and more of a thing. Like when Kyrie said when Kyrie said what he said about the Earth being flat, it was everywhere. This is like multiple times that, and it's upsetting for me for a franchise that I think is so close. And as Bam has said, I mean, Bam's a little bit older than me, but we've seen a lot of downs, some ups, but there's always one little thing that comes up. And for this to be the thing that's there, this to me
Yeah.
just feels like death by 1,000 paper cuts. Like the same way that last year it was you had one injury and everyone after the Harden thing was like, oh my God, we're done. And they still had it. The Kyrie injury thing came. And it's the season hasn't even started yet. Stuff is going to come up. There's going to be injuries. You'll have a player that is going through something or ends up being much worse than they were supposed to be, whatever it is. But this is just not another thing that the team needs. It's just not.
It's such a silly unforced error. There's so many things that this team is gonna have to find out. Like tonight, what I noticed was I don't think Nash knows what his best lineup is. I know a lot of guys were hurt. I know we still haven't seen LaMarcus.
Yep.
It, it it appears they're still trying to get him in shape. I don't know what happened with Claxton. I'm kind of worried about that. Any of you two, either one of you know what happened
He's
with
sick.
Claxton tonight?
He's sick. He
He's
was sick,
just
so they let him out.
all right. So he had the sniffles.
Non-COVID illness. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm glad about that because this guy Paul Millsap looks baked, yo. Wow. He was just the Nets offense couldn't get any kind of rhythm with him in there, and he just was too small, not athletic enough. These Sixer guys, the basically just has a team of just long athletic, players. that I've never heard of.
Yeah, I gotta be honest. I don't care about the results of tonight's game.
Yeah, I mean that's why I didn't watch them. I watched some of the first.
I watched, and it was frustrating to watch for sure. And like Millsap does look like he's baked, but this stuff is just like it doesn't matter yet. Like that stuff, like the Nets are gonna start off slow. I'm telling you right now. I'm gonna go psycho. I'm probably gonna curse out like a poor Net fan on Twitter who doesn't deserve it over it. So that this is gonna happen. Like the Nets are just started slow my entire life outside of maybe kids' first year. They're not gonna get off.
And I'm shocked that that's gonna happen. Like I see it happening.
Harden is clearly he has not played. He is. It almost looks like when he first got here, he's making moves and the ball is falling off his arm because his body is moving.
Right, and his passes have been. His passing has been just terrible, but I don't think he's had targets either.
Like, late May, June, and he, it was like a 2-month. He probably has just started really playing basketball again.
But guys, I don't want to get too overly excited, but I'm sorry. This is going to be really short, but Sharp moves his feet really well. I'm watching Dayron kind of move side to side. I'm kind of getting happy about that player, even though he's not going to play at all this year. He takes a three.
He'll be living
almost banked it in.
Center this year.
Say that again.
He'll be living closer to me than the Barclays Center this year.
Oh, hell's yeah!
He's gonna be out here on the island.
He'll be on Hempstead Turnpike.
Going to the subway by Hofstra.
Yeah, hell's yeah. Dan's sub shop across the street.
I've the beginning. My initial response was, like, fuck Kyrie if he doesn't. Then my thought moved to, like, this rule doesn't make any sense. And the rule doesn't make sense. But then you eventually you just swing back around, and it's like, is Kyrie, like, what is he trying to? Is he really think this is harmful to him? It's like, what I would love to know, just like, why. If you're not going to take this, tell me why. And like, everybody has a friend that's not vaccinated, right? And you say, well, why? Yeah. And then, usually you get some sort of like regurgitated thing, like, well, they're not talking about the people who have bad reactions. And it's like, everybody who's like, the 3 people I know who aren't vaccinated all seem to know like one of like the 5 breakthrough cases.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, everybody, I know somebody who died. Like, you probably don't. So I just would love to know, like, what his reasoning is behind this. Like, why did you come here to sign up with Kevin Durant, and now you're?
It's an identity. He's anti-vax Moses.
I think Kyrie has. We talked about this in chat the other day, where maybe he was pushed into hoops. It's like he feels like he's never had control of his life and who he is and what he wants to be, and this is how it manifests itself, where. Like, he's a Native American, and like not that there's anything wrong, but like he tries to create any identity besides being
a basketball player,
star basketball player. So he's a civil rights activist, he's an anti-vaccine guy. It appears. It's like, where are all these things coming from? And I
don't think there's anything wrong with him being multifaceted. My thing is, I wish that he had people next to him to help him see that this Messiah complex is not good for him. It's not good for him to grasp the world in this way, and it's always like I think all young people should explore off the wall concepts and conspiracy theories and all the stuff you want to kind of explore, because that makes you a well-rounded person. That lets you take the intellectual playground and ride all the rides, right? But the problem that Kyrie has is that his fan base, and you've been arm wrestling with them, Sam, lately. His fan base makes it worse for Kyrie, because just like when he had